Okay, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit special. For the first time in my illustrious booktube career, I am going to be doing a book tag that I have created myself. So for the longest time you guys have been saying, Mr. Francy, why not just create one of your own book tags? And today I've decided is the day to finally do that. So we are going to be doing, for the first time in booktube history, a tag called the Mr. Francy Reads book tag, which will become more and more clear to you as we do go along, because this tag takes prompts from the letters in the words Mr. Francy Reads. Enjoy! Let's get right into the prompts. Prompt number 1. M stands for magic. If you could have one magical ability you read about in a book, which would it be, and what book did it come from? I'm going to go with this book, Charmed Trickery Treat, which I have read before, but I have not read since beginning my booktube channel, so it has no star rating. But I'm going to go with this book because for the longest time I have wanted one of the abilities that this sister on the cover, whose name is Piper, has, which is the ability to freeze things, to freeze time basically, to pause a scene that is going on in front of you. I just think that would be amazing to just have a moment where I could go, yeah, freeze, take a breath, think about what I want to do, what I want to say, and now unfreeze. Prompt number 2. R stands for rebinding. Do you have any books that need to be rebounded or replaced owing to age and decay? Actually, quite sadly, I do. It would be these two Animorphs books. We have book number 2, The Visitor, and book number 4, The Message. So this is a book that I have had since I was in primary school, or if you're American, elementary school. As you can see, the spine is rather withered, as is the back a bit, as is the front. If I could upgrade this, I definitely would. There's a new edition that's come out of Animorphs that I don't like, so I'd want to replace it with this edition. And also with The Message, the spine is just terrible. And the back too, there's a bit of a chunk that's been taken out there. Prompt number 3. F stands for first book. What is the first book you completed since beginning your booktube channel? Or, if you don't have a booktube channel, what is the first book you read? And the first book that I read on my booktube channel was completed in January of 2020, and that book was this book, The Replacement by Brenna Yovanov. I didn't necessarily enjoy this book, but I've hung on to it for the nostalgia because it was the first book that I read for my booktube channel. So the basic premise of this book is that we're following a boy whose name is Mackie, who really seems to have a lot of medical issues. There's a lot of things he's allergic to and he doesn't know why. It is a YA fantasy. We don't find out what's really going on until the 3/4 mark, but when we do, some fantastic things go down, and it became really gripping for me from the 3/4 mark on, so I gave it 3 stars. But yeah, this is the very first book that I read, a YA fantasy called The Replacement by Brenna Yovanov. R stands for romance. Name 2 romance books you've read. One you enjoyed and one you didn't. And my answers for this prompt are I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella and Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. Starting with the one that I did not enjoy, Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. This book is marketed as an adult straight romance that deals with the Groundhog Day trope, where the day repeats over and over and over again. I felt like the day did not repeat over again enough, and also the romance just seemed a little too rushed for my liking, making it seem less authentic than I wanted it to be. For a romance that I loved, I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella is absolutely fantastic, and I now am endeavouring to read a ton of Sophie Kinsella next year, all based on this book. Not only was the plot really well done and did I really enjoy it, but it was such a humorous read as well. Sophie Kinsella's humour is just fantastic for me. I was laughing every second page, so those are my 2 answers for that prompt. Prompt number 5. A stands for find a book that begins with the letter A on your bookshelf and show us. And my answer for this prompt is going to be this book, Princess Diaries book number 2, which is called A Royal Disaster. It's kind of actually sad that I have to show you this book because this is the book that ended up making me want to DNF the Pretty Little Lies, the Princess Diaries series. It just really wasn't working for me. But it is a book that I own that starts with A. Prompt number 6, N, stands for Not For Me. Name the last book you DNF'd. For those of you who don't know, DNF stands for Did Not Finish. You pick up a book, you don't like it, so you put it back down and don't plan to go back to it. So, the last book I DNF'd was this book, Piranesi, by Susanna Clarke. I'm showing you the spine because it doesn't say that on the cover, because this is an ARC, an advanced reader copy. I started reading this book hoping to love it. I was reading it as part of a buddy read, and it just really wasn't the book for me, and that's why I put it down. But a lot of people do love this book. Prompt number 7, C, stands for covers. Show us a beautiful or not so beautiful cover. Okay, I'm going to end up showing you some beautiful covers rather than not so beautiful covers, although you can see behind me, while I do think that this and this cover are beautiful in their own right, they look very dark, so they're like the darker form of beautiful. But anyway, the first book I'm going to show you is this gorgeous edition of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I don't know if it's like they put glitter on the outside, but there's something, it's definitely got like a felt type texture, so it's very different to anything that I've owned before, and of course very glossy, glimmery. But yeah, this is beautiful and it goes all the way through to the back as well. So very nice. And also the UK edition, which I never talk about UK editions, but the UK edition of The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I thought that this book was okay. I ended up giving it about 3 stars, I think, but I keep it because I love the cover so much. So these 2 books, just really beautiful. Prompt number 8, Y stands for You Only Live Once. Name a book you want to read before you die. I have 2, and I have one of them on me, the other one I don't have. So I'll put an image up on the screen. The first book that I would love to read before I die is this book, Just Ella. This is a book that I've heard about for oh gosh, what feels like most of the last 2 years. Not by a lot of people, just by one particular booktuber, and apparently it's just a fantastic book. And I've tried so many different ways of acquiring a copy of this book that hadn't worked in the past, but now I found a way to access it. So hoping to have that on my TBR for next year. And the other book I literally only received yesterday, and that is this book, Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon Maguire. This is book 1 in the Wayward Children series. I've just heard that this book has such a beautiful atmosphere about it. So, and the cover is just gorgeous. I had to go for the hardcover because it's just so beautiful. R stands for Rewind. Name a book or series that you would love to go back to and read again. My answer for this prompt would have to be Mistborn Era number 1. We have book number 1, my favourite book from 2021, Mistborn The Final Empire. Book number 2, The Well of Ascension. And book number 3, The Hero of Ages. In case you're wondering, these are the Tor Publishing editions. I will show you their logo there. Tor Publishing. Yes, I don't like the UK editions, but I love the US Tor Publishing ones. I love this series so much, and the only reason why I haven't reread them in such a long time is because I have so many new books that I want to get to. But if ever I have a time where I just where I'm not enjoying the books I'm currently reading, or I just don't have any books that I'm particularly wanting to get to, best believe I'm going to get to a reread of this series. This was just fantastic. This series is what introduced me to Brandon Sanderson, and as you can tell, he's the only author that has his own shelf. Prompt number 10, E stands for Extras. Show us a novella you read that was connected to a series you loved. Well, I'm going to go back to Mistborn Era 1 and show you a novella that's connected to that, and that is this book that I absolutely love, Mistborn Secret History. In book number 1 of Mistborn the Final Empire, one of the characters we are introduced to is Kelsier. Kelsier does not remain after book number 1, but this book kind of acts as a companion, showing us what Kelsier was doing in books numbers 2 and 3, and because Kelsier was my favourite character, I mean, this was just such a blessing to receive. So my answer for that prompt is Mistborn Secret History by Brandon Sanderson. Prompt number 11, A stands for abracadabra. Make this your own prompt by telling us your favourite genre or least favourite and your favourite or least favourite book in that genre. So I'm going to go with least favourite because I have the feeling that those who will do this prompt will probably do their favourite. So I'll mix it up and go with my least favourite. My least favourite genre of all time is Western books. I just having read a number of different fantasies and a number of different books that have darker tones and things like that, the idea of showing up to a battle or a fight with something as mortal as a gun, it's just... Not only do I not enjoy Westerns, but they also bore me, quite frankly. So, my least favourite Western book that I have read, while actually marketed as an adult fantasy, it is an adult fantasy Western, and that would have to be The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I know! Here's your guy, Mr. Francy, telling you there's a Brando Sando book he doesn't like. I end up giving this book 3 stars because what Brandon Sanderson does well, he still does well in this book, but it is definitely a Western, and I did not know that going in, and that definitely turned me off. So, least favourite genre, Westerns. Least favourite book that I've read that's a Western is The Alloy of Law, book number 1 in Mistborn Era number 2. Prompt number 12, D stands for dust jacket. Take a dust jacket off a book and show us how it looks without it. So I'm going to go with Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This was equally my favourite book of 2021 alongside Mistborn Era 1, The Final Empire. I think the dust jacket itself is absolutely gorgeous, but now let's take off the dust jacket and see what it looks like on the inside. Are you ready? Ooh. I might not be ready because this is the first time I've taken it off. So we have some beautiful stencil work that I'm trying to be able to get you to see. And the spine, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Nothing really on the back. But I will say on the inside, we have some gorgeous illustrations. And also on this side, we have a map, which is beautiful as well. So it is still a beautiful book, and I think when put into a bookshelf, having the spine facing out, this is really beautiful. But I have to say, I do still love the dust jacket a lot, but that's how it looks without the dust jacket. And that's how it looks with the dust jacket. Funny that it's red on the inside. You wouldn't think that it would be red by looking at this, would you? Maybe looking there, you might see a bit of red, but not on the cover. And finally, prompt 13, S stands for So Who Am I Gonna Tag? So here are some specific shout outs I'm going to give. I tag Jessica from Lady Lovestead Reads, Stormy from Storm Reads, Nikki from Nikki's Books, and Leo from Leo Bancroft, as well as anyone else who wants to do this tag, because it would just be great to have you guys do the Mr. Francy book tag. So, Mr. Francy Reads book tag. I'm just imagining it now, clicking on your video and seeing you say, today we're doing the Mr. Francy Reads book tag. Oh, that would just be such a love and such a joy for me. So I'm so happy and honoured to have come up with my very first own book tag. You guys have been saying it for a while, so it was great for me. Obviously, this one's theme was the letters within the name of my channel, but I would love to come up with other original book tags in the future because I've done so many book tags that I feel like I'm running out of other book tags that have already been created. If you have any suggestions for themes for future book tags of mine, let me know what they are in the comment section below. Also, let me know how you would have answered these questions. And finally, if you do end up doing a video of your own from this book tag, please leave a link in the description below to your video so that I can go ahead and watch it. I can't wait to see you do it and to see your answers. But in the meantime, I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful week, and and a wonderful start to your October. I hope that you are keeping your eggs sunny side up with all the daisies, roses, and rainbows and all the sparkles in the world that you deserve. But in the meantime, letting you guys go, peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much for watching and for all your support. And in the meantime, happy reading!